And uncertainty in the stock market today as the world's two largest economies trade barbs on a new round of tariff threats. After securing a major foreign policy win in Gaza this weekend, the Trump administration now walking a tightrope on another, now working to de-escalate renewed trade tensions with China, which started this morning with new tit-for-tat port fees on all Chinese and U.S. ships using each other's docks. And as President Trump imposed new tariffs on furniture, cabinets, and lumber coming into the U.S., these tensions, as you know, have been brewing for weeks now after China began trying to leverage hardline control of rare earth minerals, which are needed for new technology. That's something President Trump called strange, and apparently calling off his meeting with China's president in reaction. He went on to threaten 100% tariffs on all Chinese goods if China does not back down on its export control demands. We are expecting to see President Trump in the next hour. He will be welcoming Argentina's president to the White House. We'll bring that to you live. First, though, let's start with NewsNation's Kelly Meyer, who was live for us outside of the White House. Kelly, this trade war seems to be revived and going strong.
Yeah, that's right, Nicole. And what we're hearing here at the White House is that talks are continuing between the U.S. and China. And I'm also told more meetings are expected this week as President Trump's Treasury Secretary says the president's meeting with China's leader is still on the calendar at this moment. So late last week, President Trump had threatened a massive increase in tariffs on China and threatened canceling that meeting with China's President Xi Jinping after China said it would dramatically expand its rare earths export controls, citing national security concerns. President Trump then said on social media on Sunday that the U.S. did not want to, quote, hurt China and, quote, it will all be fine. Now, China's Commerce Ministry saying today that the U.S. was threatening to intimidate by floating new tariffs and that, quote, is not the right way to get along with China. So here's where things stand right now. China imposed new global restrictions on rare earth minerals, crucial for American makers of chips and batteries. President Trump threatened that 100% tariff on Chinese goods. That would take effect November 1st, but it is also on top of the other tariffs on China, some at 30% already. The U.S. also says it would also put export controls on critical software. President Trump said yesterday he believes that China and the U.S. will work this all out.
You saw the statement I put out that he had a bad day. And I think we're going to be fine with China. Look, I have a great relationship with President Xi. He's a very tough man. He's a very smart man. He's a great leader for their country. He's a great leader. And I have a great relationship with him. I think we'll get it set. I know what happened. I really understand what happened. And I'm not even saying he's wrong. But then we met him with something much tougher than what he did to us. Again, because of the tariffs, it's much tougher.
So this all comes as President Trump's tariffs on imported furniture, kitchen cabinets, and lumber takes effect today. Tariffs ranging from 10 to 50% on foreign wood products and furniture snapped into effect just after midnight. Nicole.
So, Kelly, what are we hearing from the Treasury Secretary when it comes to China?
Yeah, so we are hearing him weigh in, and it comes as President Trump is really arguing that his tariffs have been key to bringing about peace deals like the one just struck in Gaza. President Trump says the tariffs have brought about peace to the world. And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, this is why he's saying he's critical of China announcing export controls on the same day that President Trump reached the peace deal with Israel and Hamas. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent believes China was trying to send a signal by announcing its export controls on the day that was announced. Take a listen to what he had to say.
The Chinese economy is doing very poorly, and maybe they're trying to take focus off of that. Two, China, as opposed to the United States is pushing for peace in the world. China is financing war. And three, maybe it was a mistaken attempt to try to gain leverage before the two leaders meet in Korea in October. And I can tell you, trying to get leverage in front of a meeting with Donald Trump is a bad idea.
So now Besson says Trump won't implement the 100% tariff on Chinese imports until after the two leaders meet. Nichole.
All right, Kelly Meyer live for us there in D.C. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.